Hello. Happy March and happy Women's History Month. Today we're going to talk about the 3 ways to reignite your creativity and your joy without overwhelm. So come on in. Let's get started on our topic. I hope you all are doing well on this Tuesday. What is it, like early afternoon? You see me looking down. I am watching 2 monitors, 3 kids. So my son's school closed because of a power outage, and then it is also my little's nap time. So if you keep seeing me looking down, I am monitoring them. We're doing double duty, as sometimes moms have to do. Most of the time we have to do. But we're going to get this done. It's going to be a short and sweet live today as we start off March, something light and easy to try to find our joy. This year has been heavy amongst worldly things, but also in our own personal lives. I'm sure it's been heavy for a lot of us. So as always, I just want to come spread a little cheer, spread a little joy, and try to help you reignite and find your creative spark in these times. I think it's very helpful. If you are new, I am Shalina B, your go-to mama for family meals and routines, and I also help my mamas prioritize our self-care, our ambitions, while maintaining our home. If you followed me or if you're new, routines are so important. Meal planning is something that I love. I specialize in. I've started to meal prep. That is something new that I am starting to do. So that has been an interesting thing so far. But whatever we can do to be more efficient, so we can have more time to be present with our families, more time for us, and time for our creativity, because we do deserve to tap into that. I feel like sometimes as adults we move further and further away from creativity, further and further away from fun, because we are not children. And I think there is a misconception that we aren't supposed to connect in a childlike way and just experience some of those things that really make our inner child happy. So that's something that I want to get back to, because that joy, we all have that internal joy, that God-given joy. But also, what about our creative side? We spend a lot of time, we're working moms, stay-at-home moms, whatever. If you work in the home or out of the home, you work a 9-to-5 job, an entrepreneur, or you work in the home with your kids, taking care of your home, we are all working, and it is all hard work. Sometimes thankless work, sometimes just long and exhausting work. So that creative side, just for us to be able to do that, doesn't always happen sometime. But we're going to talk a little bit about how to find that spark again. So again, glad you're here. So let's get right into the topic. So this will be a part of my series for the month of March, which is betting on yourself. So what better month than Women's History Month to bet on ourselves? We have a lot of roles and responsibilities. So we are giving ourselves to everyone. And, we have big hearts. We have a lot to give, but sometimes we need to bet on ourselves, and we need to make sure that we don't forget about ourselves in the midst of doing all and everything for others. So to start, so the first way to reignite your creativity and your joy, and also without overwhelm, because one thing I don't want is to find creativity, to find joy, to feel like another task, another thing we have to do on our list. Sometimes thinking about planning, thinking about creating routines can sound overwhelming, and that's because sometimes the process can be very daunting. Sometimes not understanding that meal planning and planning for your home and setting up routines requires some strategy. So sometimes we can do it on our own, but sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need that support to do it as well. But what I don't want with creativity is for that to be daunting, because we're not going to do it. If that's something that we don't have to do, is something that is not making us money, we feel like we don't have to be creative in that way, because we're already doing all the other things. But if you are somebody that has felt like you have been missing that creative spark in your life. Maybe you've lost yourself in motherhood. Maybe you are no longer doing some of the things that you were excited and felt fulfilled doing before you had kids, before you had a family. And now you're starting to get that itch of like, man, I really want to find something. I really want to find that joy, spark something in me. Maybe you are in a season of your life where you are able to find a creative outlet. Maybe before, like me, I had 2 under 2 at the time, and they are about to be this year 3 and 2. So a little more self-sufficient, a little less right, I guess, super needy. They still have a lot of needs, but it gets a little better the older our children get. So maybe that's you. Maybe you've cleared some time in your schedule. Maybe you don't have such a busy season. Maybe you are just yearning for some joy, yearning for some creativity, because again, it might be the season to find that in a world where everything is going on. Finding that creative outlet can really be helpful. So the first thing that you need to do, the first way you need to reignite your creativity and your joy is to really think about the beliefs that you've told yourself around you being deserving of creativity and joy. Is this something that was told that, you don't have time for it? Maybe you feel like it's not for you. Maybe you felt like, well, creativity was something of the past. Maybe you feel like, oh, I can be creative at my job. I can be creative with something that is profitable. But just really think about your mindset and your beliefs around creativity and around joy. Once you realize that your joy is God-given, your joy is something that God is giving you, and no one can take it away. That is your God-given right to have the joy. And to have creativity. That will start to shift the mindset around what creativity looks like in your life. How can I have it? And then really start to explore what it looks like and making that time to have that. Also, shifting your mindset and beliefs around what society says that you need. Maybe joy and creativity looks different online and on social platforms, and maybe it looks different for other people that you follow or people that you know, but really thinking, what does that look like for you? Not what society says, not what I see online, but what does it look like for you? And then also, understanding that regardless of your current situation, regardless of if you feel like you don't have time for your passion and interest, unlearning those things as well, to know that it doesn't have to be a burden. It doesn't have to be another thing for you to tap into your creativity, and to know that there's a scripture that your gifts will make room for you. I don't know where it's from at the moment. I should have wrote it down, but your gifts will make room for you. And that is in scripture. So whenever you have a passion, whenever you have something that you feel is tugging on your creativity, maybe God is directing you in a certain area to do a thing, it will make room for you. So if you feel like you don't have time for those things, if it's God-given, if it's something that you've prayed about, he will make room, and you will have time to do that thing, because that thing will be a catalyst to giving you the peace, giving you the joy, giving you the creativity to be able to handle your other roles, your other routines. So really think about that when you think about your mindset and your beliefs around creativity and sparking joy. And a couple other questions that you can ask yourself is, what would you want to do if it was something that you would do for free? What would it be? They always say the question, like, what would you, or what is the question I typically hear? What do people typically come to you about? I feel like that could be a part of your creative outlet as well, because our creative outlets are all different. But depending on who you are, and if you are a person that serves, like I love to serve, maybe your creative outlets are outward and they're serving related, or maybe you serve in a different capacity, whether it's art or music or writing or speaking or dancing, movement. There's so many different types, and we'll probably get to that in the next live next week. But really think about what would you want to do. Maybe it's something that you see, something that you've heard, something that just looks fun. I always, I'm on a newsletter about, from like a dance studio here. And I always get emails about like salsa dancing and line dancing and different things like that. And I love to dance. I love music. And I feel like it is so therapeutic to my soul. So that is something on my bucket list that I've been wanting to do. And I know that I can dance at home, and those are some of the things I've been doing, or dance with my husband. We're in the kitchen cooking and things like that. But that is one of the creative outlets that I would like to eventually do once I'm able to. Kids are older, and we can leave our home in an earlier time of the day to go do some salsa dancing or do some couples dancing. So that would definitely bring me some joy. And I feel like that's a creative outlet that I want to scratch, because I love music and I love dancing. So think about, what would you want to do? What would that look like? What would that look like for you in any area? Whether it's tapping into social media or, again, those other outlets, what would you want to do? Think about what activities that you engage in. Do they bring you joy? What activities connect you to your inner child? Like when I play games with my kids, I feel like I'm healing my inner child, because I am playing with them and I'm able to be less serious and just show up, as me. And I feel like my inner child is happy because I'm able to play and be, and we can dance and we can laugh and have fun. So that's something that I do engage in with my children, that I do enjoy. But yeah, think about that. And then so just take, those are just a couple questions. Just take some time to think about what would spark joy. What's something that you would want to do? And then the second way to reignite your creativity and joy without overwhelm is to get connected with community. Community is so important. I feel like I've been talking about this a lot, and I've been hearing that this is a common theme this year, in all years, but this year is to be in connection, be in community. So whether that's a personal community, so that's your village, your circle, your family, your chosen family, your family, as some people call it, family, friends. It could be some professional circles, some spiritual circles, some social circles. Regardless of what it is, get in community with like-minded individuals, people that either are doing the things that you want to do, that are interested in doing some of the things you want to do, that are doing something different but still motivates you and it inspires you, and then groups that you can also motivate and inspire as well. That's something that I found as an adult, and finding adult circles and adult friendships it's very reciprocal. Very reciprocal. And that's what I really wanted in this season of my life. Some of my relationships were one-sided, and I feel like I contributed to being one-sided because I wasn't as vulnerable, and I didn't make space for feedback, or make space for feedback or things like that. And that was something that I had to work through. But now I allow myself to be vulnerable. I accept feedback. I give feedback. We pour into each other. We pray over each other. And, based on our skill sets, we help each other in different ways, provide advice, help, all those type of things. And it's really beneficial. And I feel like that alone helps to spark that creativity and joy, because we're making space for each other. We're making room for each other as we talk about our goals and our passions. And it's a non-judgmental space, so we're able to just be. Because sometimes when you're in mama mode, you can't think about being creative. When the house is cluttered, when your systems aren't working, when you have no meal plans, when you have no routines, it leaves very little room for creativity and very little room for anything, to be honest. So being in those circles, being able to kind of separate that mom life, that family life into those, and getting in community is very helpful. And often those communities have moms as well. So there's a lot of different similarities that you can have, but it really helps to be in those spaces, especially maybe if you're feeling like you're in a rut, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like you want to reignite some of those passions, or you want to find some new ones. Community can really help. So if you don't have a personal circle, obviously the internet has, there's a group for anybody on the internet. Obviously, I am definitely here as your community to connect with you, to support you, to help you talk through goals or just understand some of the things that you want to do in life. Maybe you are pregnant, postpartum, newly postpartum, or seasonally postpartum. There is something for all of us out there. But yeah, regardless, just get in community. There's definitely joy in community, receiving knowledge from others, and then you giving knowledge as well. And you'd be surprised what things are said about you and how people feel about you that really help take things to the next level. Because we only know what we know about ourselves, but somebody looking from the outside in, and somebody that's trusted, somebody that we talk to, can really see things and pull things out of us that we may not know. So there's a lot of benefit in having those circles and being vulnerable, and definitely praying over each other in those hard times. And that was one of my experiences. A friend, or well, an accountability partner turned best friend, and we were a part of a business group for moms. And we didn't know each other. We were from different states. It was an online program during the pandemic. We joined and got to the program. I say probably a year or so later, she reached out, asked me if we wanted to be accountability partners. So we started off as accountability partners. You know, we had our agendas and things that we were working on. We would talk through that. We would support each other in our goals, and it was great. You know, it was very, it was friendly, but we kept it business. But then the personal started to get involved with the business aspect, and that is when I think the friendship really evolved, because life is gonna life, and life started to life for her, and life started to life for me, and we found. We confided in each other. We found the trust and vulnerability in our friendship to be able to trust each other with our with the things that we were going through. And so it went from, like I said, accountability partner, business professional to a friendship. And we've now both been to each other's houses out of state. You know, we talk almost every day, and you know, it's really beautiful. You know, she'll have a new idea and we'll talk about it, we'll pray over it, we'll help to think it through, or I'll just be a listening ear, because sometimes you never, like when you were talking, sometimes you just need to talk and get it out, and get it out of your head like you are getting it out on a whiteboard, or if you will. And then she allows me to do the same. We'll give each other feedback on it. Maybe we have like a presentation or something coming up. We'll just give each other feedback. So things like that can really help spark your creativity. There's so many book clubs and mom clubs and things out there, but just find what works for you and what's right for you. Maybe a big group is not your thing, and that's not my thing. That's why I found, I find some smaller communities, or I connect one-to-one also, because I'm just a personable person like that in that aspect. So maybe you are a one-on-one person, or maybe you are a larger group person, but it's a good time to figure that out. And I feel like online is the easier way, because maybe you don't have time to go to an in-person group, or maybe you are introverted a little bit, so going to a big group like that may be very overwhelming, and that is me. I pushed beyond my comfort zone, and I've been trying to get out, doing more networking events. I have a couple things on my calendar for this year, actually, because I am trying to reignite my spark and find some new joy in my life. I'm trying to do more networking, getting myself out there in my field, in my industry and my expertise, just things that I'm exploring. So it can be scary, but there's benefit in putting yourself out there as well. But I would definitely recommend start online, try some things online, try some groups online, try to just do some searches, see what resonates with you, join them, and see how you may connect. And even the people that you may follow, if they resonate with you, if they have been responsive to maybe you've responded, or maybe they're responsive to other people that follow them, connect with them. Share or something in their in the comments on something that they do. Maybe they go live, maybe they make some posts. Engage. That's how we connect. We have to engage. And I feel like when we think about connection and community, I want more than followers, and I want to do more than just follow people. So I've unfollowed a lot of celebrities, and I connect with real people. So most of the time I'm going to like something, I'm going to comment. Sometimes we're in the DMs, but it's real community, it's real connection. So it's not just kind of the surface level thing. And I know sometimes it's kind of, it can be a little, I don't know what the word is, but it could be a little scary maybe to comment sometimes. But I just try to shut everything else out, and I'm like, look, you seem like somebody that's like-minded, and I like what you're posting, so I'm gonna respond, or I'm gonna shout a compliment out or something like that, because that's just the type of person I am, and I value community, and I want to build those connections. So it doesn't hurt to tell somebody, you go girl, you doing the thing, or you look pretty today, or I love what you said, or I'm praying for you, whatever it is. And I don't know these people and they don't know me, but that's something that you can do to connect online as well if you don't want to get into a group. And then sometimes just, being inspired by the things that they're doing, seeing maybe how they're doing. Maybe you even eventually ask, some questions if they're open to that. A lot of people have lives and Q&As and things like that. So, you can always connect that way. But one thing that you should not do when it comes to community, when it comes to these spaces, is compare. And we know that comparison is the thief of joy. And we don't want to compare, because we're all unique. We're all made in God's image. So there is room, there is space for all of us. So there is no need to be fearful, to compare, to feel like an imposter, but to know that there is a place for you. God is making room for your gifts, and it's okay to put yourself out there. But if you are following people that make you feel that way, then maybe you should unfollow or mute, or pray about those feelings and ask God, where are these feelings coming from? I know sometimes I have those feelings, and I know I typically have those feelings when I'm tired, when I'm in certain phases of my cycle, typically like I think it's the late follicular phase, I believe. I've been talking a lot about cycle syncing and how it syncs with your different moods and how you feel. And sometimes you can feel more exhausted, you can feel down, you can be overanalyzing, things like that. So I notice those are the times where I start to compare myself, and I start to feel like what I do does not matter. But I realize it is related to me not resting, or my moods, or my hormones, or my estrogen, and all those things going on in my body. So I'm mindful with how I consume, how much I consume, but also if there are things that make me feel away, I pray about it. But if it's still something that's not resonating with me, then I definitely let it go. Because why are we consuming things that don't fit us, that don't make us feel good? That's something that I'm not doing in 2025. So don't compare. That is the key in this community thing. We don't have to compare. We all have a space here. And then the last thing, surprise, surprise, is having routines. Having routines is a third way to reignite your creativity and joy. As I mentioned before, we cannot open up that creative outlet or have a creative spark sometime when we are overwhelmed in the home, when we are trying to do everything else, when we're trying to manage and maintain our household, our kids, everything on our to-do list. Work may be kind of crazy. There's a lot going on. It can be very overwhelming. But the thing about creative outlets, I really feel like they really make room and space for you to feel whole, you to be able to be present with yourself, and then be present with your family, because you are finding things for you to do outside of the home, outside of your family, for just a bit of a time. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to be away from your family for a long time, but just some things to connect with yourself and to keep your creativity. So routines definitely help that. And I would say having a weekly routine, like a planning routine for your household, knowing your appointments, your meetings, knowing your budget, knowing what kids need to be what when, really helps out a lot. So you are not making those decisions in real time Also, having your meal planning together, or if you meal prepping so you have food ready, or you know what meals you're going to make, you know who's going to make those meals. So again, if you've had a crazy day, like hello, me today, my kid not their school closing because of power, my little's not wanting to take a nap, and they're kind of just they were being fully themselves today. A 2-year-old and the 1-year-old was acting like the 2-year-old. So it's been quite a morning, but we meal prepped. I prepped food yesterday, so I did go live, so watch that as well if you want some meal prep ideas. I plan for the month of March. I usually plan for March and April, end of the following month, and then early of the beginning of the new month, just so I can stay ahead and I know what's coming. Plan ahead. Me and my husband always make sure that we touch base with our schedules, with what's going on with our budgets and everything. We've gotten our groceries for the week, so after my work day is over, I can just kind of be, and I think that's important to be able to be and do, do something for yourself and to be able to reconnect with yourself, because it gets very overwhelming. And like I said, there is no room to be creative or to do the things that you desire if you don't have those things. So also, another part of those routines is to share the load. And when you share the load, you're able to lighten your load. So if you have a household, if you share your household with your partner, your spouse, with your children, or whoever else may be in the home, there's something that everybody can do on every stage. My 2-year-old, he loves to put the clothes from the dryer into the basket, because our dryer is low. So that's something that he's always been able to do, to put it in the basket. And as he's gotten older, within his 1, 2, almost 3, he has been more accurate, and it's helpful. It's something that he's proud of, that he can do, and it's something that one less thing for me to do. Yeah, I have to kind of instruct him along the way, but that's something that he can do. Our boys are sorting their clothes for when we wash their clothes, so that's one less thing that we have to do. They make up their beds. We're trying to get them to clean the bathroom. That's another chore that we're trying to get them there. They, clean up the toys when they play with their toys. So just some things that can take away the overwhelm. And then, obviously talking with your partner. So if you do all the cooking, then maybe hubby can do the cleaning, or maybe if you all switch off on cooking certain days, the other person can clean the kitchen. Or if the person that's designated to cook for the day, they clean the kitchen, and the other partner takes the kids up for bed. So one thing is not falling on everybody, but you're able to share the load and lighten your load in the process. So again, you can have that time for creativity, because one thing that I found, I was trying to tap into my creativity, but I would be at home with the kids all day. The little kids, the big kids will come home after school. I would cook, we would hang out, clean, and then I would have to go 9, 10 o'clock at night, go out my office and try to get some work done. And that wasn't working for me, because I'm like, at that point, I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. It's not going to happen. So I had to talk to my partner. I had to talk to my husband about and communicate with him about my needs, that I, want to spend time on my business. I want to do some things for me. And that late time wasn't working. So we talked, and try to figure some things out. Well, some days I can do things earlier. I've obviously found ways to do things during the day, and that created a routine that helped us create routines and habits, to make sure that I don't forget about myself, and my husband is aware of my goals, so he can hold me accountable, and we can both are aware of the things that I need to do. Because sometimes if we don't speak up, our things that we want to do will fall by the wayside. So if everything else is going on in the house, the kids have appointments, the kids have extracurriculars, all these other things, and we don't include it on that to-do list or include it in our schedule, it will fall by the wayside. But we don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we include it just like everything else. So even though I am a stay-at-home mom and I have my business, I still work on my business 20 hours a week. I make time for that. It is in the calendar. It is a well-known thing. It used to be a wing it thing. I used to just work on my business when I could, but now it's like, nope, these are my designated days. These are the days when I'm out of the home. In the home, these are the days that I'm doing my professional development, personal development stuff, whether it's a webinar or an in-person event. But we had to make room for that. We had to make space for that. And I feel more fulfilled as a result of it. I feel like I am not pushed aside, because I have felt like that. And I think that a lot of us women feel like our needs are last, and we can become very resentful because we're not doing the things that tap into our creativity. And we are naturally creative people anyway. So we need to tap into that, and we need to be able to explore our creative side, whatever that creativity may be. So yeah, talk to your husband about how to share that load, what things that he can do to take it off your plate. Talk about those routines and those schedules. So make sure that you can make time for your creativity, make time for what it is that you desire to do as you are figuring out how to reignite that spark, that creativity, and that joy in your life. That was a short and sweet live. If you're just joining, hello. Go ahead and watch the replay because we're done today. Let's see, where's my son? I think as I'm saying this, I see him. I was saying that one of my sons is home from school because their school is closed because of a power outage. I have the two littles upstairs taking a nap. So I'm like, today is going to be short and sweet. And as we kick off Women's History Month, so I just wanted to talk about some ways to get that creativity reignited as we have our Women's History Month, as we maybe have lost some of our creativity, lost some of our passions, or just want new ones in this season. We need that joy. We need the community. The three were just to wrap it all up. The three were to explore your mindset around what your feelings and beliefs are around your creativity and joy. Do you believe that you deserve it? Do you believe that it's God-given? Do you believe that you're supposed to? Do you believe that it is your right, or it's one of those things that if it happens, it happens? Being in community, how important it is to be with like-minded people, to spark that joy, to support you, and routines to make sure that you are using your time efficiently, effectively, and you can make room for your creativity. So I appreciate you all for being here for another Tuesday live. We will pick up next Tuesday. We're going to talk about different types of creativity and some more tips around finding your thing. So tell a friend to tell a friend, share this live with someone, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to DM me because I don't see any in the chat, but feel free to DM me or comment under this video once it's posted. And otherwise, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great day.